Family and friends tell me that Meredith Green lived at this home along Liberty Street with her mother, a former Harrisburg councilwoman, as well as her fiancé, Tyler Thames, and their two girls. Those who knew the family say what happened here has left a great loss in the community.
"29-year-old Meredith Green was a bright light among many and the mother to two beautiful girls. She loved to celebrate her life daily and would even tell people it was her birthday more often than it was to give them a reason to sing and laugh. One thing that was near and dear to Meredith's heart was acting. She had gone to business school and was doing bookkeeping and accounting, but she didn't find joy in it at all. She took a leap and chose to work in restaurants while she pursued her acting career. She was going to switch and follow the path that made her happy, which was acting. And her talent was noticed by many. She spent plenty of time on the stage at the Gamut Theater with her daughters and fiancé in the audience, cheering her on. Her daughters even joined her on stage occasionally. Meredith and her longtime boyfriend, Tyler, eventually got engaged and worked even harder to ensure family was always first. They were parents who were filled with hope when envisioning a future together with their 6- and 7-year-old daughters. Around 7 a.m. on the morning of February 9th, police were summoned to a home on the 1300 block of Liberty Street after being approached by a woman who appeared to be covered in blood. They would later learn she had been shot multiple times. When they arrived at the home, they found a horrific scene. A couple had been shot and 2 children were suffering from stab wounds.
Community in mourning.
Yesterday, I was crying my eyes out.
Grieving for Meredith Green and Tyler Thames, murdered Wednesday in a Harrisburg home.
Those who knew the family say what happened here has left a great loss in the community.
I couldn't even move for a moment, and I just broke down in tears.
Amina Carter says she acted in a play with Green.
She knew how to light up a room when she came in the room.
She says Green was like this, off stage and on.
She just brought her character to life, and that's what she was. She was all about life and living.
Just a ball of light energy. Like she was good. She touched pretty much everybody who she came across.
Joshua Selvey went to Capital Area School of the Arts with Green.
We're kind of like a big family, so I know this has hit a lot of us very hard.
He says the way the community has stepped up to support the family is a comfort. A GoFundMe to raise money for the couple's 2 daughters has raised over $40,000.
Keeps my hope alive, just for humanity.
We will take care of our own.
Other community members remember Green as a child, like Linda Kamek, whose daughter was in school with Green.
She was a little itty bitty thing, but in high school she played the tuba. I'm like, how is she going to carry that big tuba? But she did it.
Kamek says Green was a go-getter, especially when it came to her family.
Between she and her mother, they always had some type of princess party for the 2 girls.
People say it's just surreal to know their friend is gone.
I was just so proud of her, and I will really miss her.
According to court documents, officers were in the area for an unrelated matter when they were approached by the unidentified woman. She was later identified as Brittany Meredith, the half-sister of Meredith Green. A criminal complaint said officers also found a 6- and 7-year-old girl inside the home, and they had been stabbed. The criminal complaint also alleges the girls told investigators their uncle, Gregory Green, had stabbed them and they saw him with a gun inside their home. Meredith Green is the daughter of former Harrisburg City Councilwoman Sandra Reed. Reed was at the home at the time of the attack but was not injured. She suffered a stroke last year, and Meredith was helping to take care of her. Brittany Meredith, Meredith Green's half-sister, asked for a protection from abuse order on January 3rd, saying that her brother Gregory Green had antagonized her, punched her in the face, and choked her that morning. She had originally called police, but noted in her application that police said they could not arrest him because there were no physical marks on her. Police advised her to file a protection from abuse order. She said her brother had been violent in the past with her mother, and that the mother's caseworker had been helping her to get him evicted from the home. A judge granted a protection from abuse order, which included a provision forcing Green to move out of the home and have no further contact with his sister or at the home. He was also ordered to give up any keys to the home, any firearms to the sheriff's office, and not post any remarks regarding his sister on social media. But 4 days later, Green showed up at the home where his family members lived. He told police he knew he wasn't supposed to be there, but he showed up to get some clothing. Police arrested him for violating the order, and he spent nearly a month in jail before a judge released him on probation February 2nd. 1 week later, he showed up at the home again, against the court's order, and killed his sister Meredith and her fiancé Tyler, shot his other sister multiple times, and attacked his nieces. Gregory Green's criminal record includes a 2012 conviction for statutory sexual assault and corruption of minors. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Gregory Green was arrested about an hour later following a police pursuit that ended with him crashing into a school bus. He has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted criminal homicide, 1 count of burglary, and 1 count of illegal possession of a firearm. Loved ones of Meredith Green and Tyler Thames remain in mourning and are still trying to process all that unfolded that tragic day.
What I will miss the most is Meredith's bright light.
Sharia Ben with the Sankofa African American Theater Company says Meredith Green performed with the group. That's how she got to know Meredith, Tyler Thames, and their young daughters August and Royal.
I saw fun and dedication to each other as a couple, and that same dedication to their children and making sure that the girls were taken care of.
Ben says it's the community's turn to help uplift the daughters. A GoFundMe fundraiser for the daughters had raised well above $20,000 in less than 24 hours.
Those girls are going to need all the support they can get, and they're 6 and 7.
Clark Nicholson worked with Green in Gamut Theater Group Productions. He says he frequently saw her family sitting in the seats to watch her perform.
I miss Meredith. Tyler was a good man. I'm just heartbroken and really worried about the girls.
The girls were taken to a hospital where they were treated and released to their grandparents. Brittany Meredith, Meredith Green's half-sister, was in critical condition for several days, but released from the hospital a week after the shooting.